Hey, welcome along to another episode of Behind the Bar podcast, brought to you by the coaches and clients of RT Fitness Durham, Sunderland, and of course the Barbell Club, where we take you from complete beginner to photo shoot ready. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show. We don't do this to make any money or anything like this. This is just to share the knowledge from us, other coaches, like on today's episode, Toby, and the stories from our clients on their struggles, their wins, everything health and fitness related, just to show you how simple it can actually be to achieving your goals. So today we have Toby from Mind and Matter Fitness. Toby is an online coach, super knowledgeable guy. I love hearing about people making that leap towards a career what they love, and that's exactly what Toby has done here. It's great to hear how other coaches out there have very similar philosophies to us, and throughout the podcast you're just going to hear Toby's passion for helping people on their own journeys, who's also had like the same struggles as him. So there's going to be lots of hints and tips throughout, again from another coach who's just breaking it down, making it simple, and showing how easy it can be done. So all links below to Toby. He's got an amazing podcast himself as well. Just check all of that out from Toby, and most of all, enjoy the show. Ready?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's do it.
Welcome. So, who is Toby Griffiths? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
I did, okay.
Is that the first question?
Yeah. It's always one of them names where you read it, and Griffiths, but yes, Griffiths.
Griffiths.
Yes, Griffiths.
Who am I? Okay.
Yes.
I am a 43-year-old man from originally from Liverpool, but now live in Durham. I'm a father of two boys who are 12 and coming on 9.
Jesus.
12
and 9
yeah,
now.
Yeah, you can remember when they were very little. I run an online coaching business called Mind and Matter Fitness. I help guys from mid-30s to early 60s with training, nutrition, behaviour change, habits, health, mental well-being, productivity, all of that kind of stuff. I've got a partner, live in Durham. I enjoy many things outside of those things, but that's what I do, and that's kind of like an overview of who I am.
Perfect. So that was brilliant. Normally people are like, who am I?
It's a deep question. I mean, I'm like, how do you answer that?
But now that's right. Perfect. So like, what is Mind Matter Fitness, and like, obviously, who do you like to help and why?
Yeah. So when I first started out, I was looking for a good name that I felt would encapsulate like my belief about health.
Right.
And there was a lot of mind over matter fitness, and that's not what I was really going for. The reason I called it Mind and Matter Fitness is because I think, firstly, one of my like core beliefs is that everything's connected. So your mental well-being in terms of like stress levels, confidence, energy, your like gratitude and how optimistic you are about life is linked to your physical health, and vice versa. So if you work on your body composition, your health, and become healthier, that leads to you being happier, and that's like a compounding effect that everything feeds itself. So you can become happier, you're more confident, you take more risks, you get more out of life. So that's why it's Mind and Matter Fitness, because I wanted something that covers not only the training and nutrition for like the physique and the body composition that a lot of people come to me for, but also the kind of mental well-being side of things. Especially the guys that I work with, they're in stressful jobs, they've got families, they like want to work on their relationships, they want to be like the leader for their family and everything else. So it's not only about the physique, but in my own experience, getting into shape when I was like came out of uni and I was not in a good place physically or mentally.
I've just seen the picture today. Where I think it was 25, wasn't it?
Yeah. I wrecked myself in my 20s partying, and I had a good time, no regrets. But when I came out of uni, I realised that I needed to stop smoking, cut down on drinking, stop staying up all night, stop partying. And what I found through the course of my journey, I hate the word journey, but you know, was that gave me confidence and energy that allowed me to improve the rest of my life. And that's what I want to help other people with. So, there you go.
Yeah. So, is it like what are the kind of people who you like to help, or is it just everything you've just encompassed
Well,
there?
yeah. So there is a theme to it. The guys that I work with, they've been successful in their careers. So
Right.
they tend to work in like desk jobs, but not always. Some of them run their own business, or they work in like sales or business finance type jobs. They've been successful in the career. They've been successful in like the relationships. A lot of them have families, or like they're in good relationships, and they know about training and nutrition. It's not like starting from a blank slate. What is exercise, or why should I exercise? They know, and a lot of them have tried diets, or they've tried different training stuff, whether it's like wrecking themselves on the treadmill, or like just going to the gym and just using whatever machines are available. What they tend to struggle with is like how to make it stick in the context of a busy life when you've got all these other responsibilities and you're stressed out and you're tired. So a lot of the way that we do things is about simplicity, sustainability, like focusing on the few things that matter with training. So training intensity, efficiency, like pushing yourself hard. Make the most out of your training sessions if you're only going to be in the gym 3 days a week. Nutrition, like managing calories, managing protein, learning how to do that without stressing over like every minute detail, without telling them they need to weigh out their broccoli and like track it. We do track stuff, but we try to do it in a more like flexible way so that they can actually stick to it.
Yeah.
And not falling into the trap of like trying to be perfect, or procrastinating and thinking, I'll just start again on Monday. Because what I know is that if they can stay consistent, even if it's not perfect every week, they will nail it and they'll get the results. And a lot of them have been through that cycle of yo-yo dieting, or the classic Monday to Thursday class, they're on it, Friday to Sunday's a write-off, and then they're like, okay, I've set a plan for next week and I'm going to nail it this time, like over and over again. So consistency, not aiming for perfection, and like giving your all when you're putting the work in to your training. That's really it.
It sounds like what you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you like to help the people, obviously, because you had a busy, what was your role before?
Yeah, so I worked in the NHS in IT for 17 years. The last 6 or so in cybersecurity, which is really demanding, high profile. I did really well in my career. So I worked in Leeds, so even when we moved to Durham, which is when I trained here, was just after I moved back to Durham. I was commuting to Leeds 3 days a week, like 90-minute trip there, 90-minute trip back, which is after COVID is like insane to think that I used to do that.
Yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, like really stressed out, young kids, high profile, demanding job. And you're right, yeah. The best way to help someone, I think, is having lived through the kinds of problems that they are facing. And I know that I can help them because I've like had the lived experience that they have. And I think that is another reason why, if you just get a random generic program online, or you just get an app where there's like no accountability, they can't contextualize it for your life. Whereas if you work with someone who knows what you're talking about, they can help you with the kinds of problems that you're either facing or you might face.
And you've lived through that,
basically. Yeah.
It's like the opposite end of, like, say, someone who's been lean all their life, being like a fat loss coach. They can tell you everything to do, they know everything to do, but they can't understand the feelings and emotions what you're going through. So, like, say if somebody has been mega overweight in the past, although again, are they going to be the best coach then? I'm just talking to myself here too. But you know what I mean? If somebody's been through it, because I like personally, I did gain weight. Like I was, by the way, I've never been like massively obese, but I gained weight when I went abroad.
I've seen the pictures when you.
Yeah, you've seen the pictures. Came back, lost a little bit of weight, gained weight again, like working abroad, and did all the silly diets, like because I hadn't a clue. And my primarily is fat loss, like with people. So I've got those little stories to tell, and I'm in even now, 40-year-old. There's still some bad habits in there. Do you know what I mean? It's like still like I am never like 100% clean eating or anything like that. I'll quite happily have a fish finger sandwich. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But I will, and I suppose then people can relate back to that. And obviously the same with you. You've lived that hyper stressful, busy life, and that commute sounds disgusting. Did it change so once COVID hit though, where you said like, did it just change to?
So during COVID, obviously, no travelling.
Yeah.
For 2020, and then they just kind of really relaxed the attitude towards people working in an office after that. It wasn't long after that I turned 40 and had my midlife crisis and realised I didn't want to do that career for another 40 years. And that's when I started doing the starting the business and starting the coaching side of things. And one of the motivations for that was obviously the location freedom. I didn't want to ever go back to working in an office multiple times a week.
Yeah.
And I haven't since, really, because even when I was still working, it was only like one day every now and then.
Yeah.
So it's definitely changed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
But what you were saying about the lift experience is definitely true. And I use this in my content because people say to me all the time, like when someone will come on and ask them about their goals, it's generally fat loss. It's not always. Sometimes people want to gain weight and gain muscle. And even if it is fat loss, there's always a muscle kind of like definition, lean and athletic look that they're seeking.
Yeah, of course.
But they always say, I'm not seeking to be like The Rock or Arnie. And
I use the same messages.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And I use it because people say that to me so much. And the lived experience point, I play into that. Like, I'm not a big guy. So if you want to be a bodybuilder, I'm not your guy.
Yeah.
You need someone who knows what bodybuilding prep is like, how to eat, how to train, how to recover. But if you want to get lean and athletic and you want a bit of muscle mass and you want to get stronger and you want to do it in a way that you can fit into your life without overhauling everything, then I can help you with that. So the lift experience is important.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm not a big person either. Do you know what I mean? I am more about just longevity, I would suppose. Longevity using weightlifting techniques and walking, basically. And that's it. And just living quite.
Don't give away all your secrets.
Oh, I'll tell everybody. Honestly, the amount, I know we talked a little bit about social media prior to this, but it's like all of my messages is train weights 4 days a week, get your steps in, track your food, you'll be all right.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated.
And there's a lot of complexities to every single thing I've just said there. Yeah. But when you do strip it down to, have you ever seen us like post on my stories me cup with like that slogan on? No. So it's like hit 10k steps, track your food, hit my session today. So it's just like that. Basically, instead of like thinking, right, I've got 20 kilos to lose. Okay, well, we'll think of the process. Yeah, process over like the result. And the process, when you actually break it down, it's just about doing those couple of daily tasks.
Yeah, the process over outcome.
That's it.
Daily habits. Focus on the action and what you can control, because you can't control whether you're going to lose 20 kilograms in X amount of time. Yeah. But what you can control is, did you go to the gym? Did you eat enough protein? Did you not snack 7 times between your meals today? And if so, you're giving yourself the best possible chance.
I know, but then we'll do a multiple one on that one. So yeah, it's 11 years ago. I think you were here.
I frame it by how old my so when I try and remember the things that have happened to me in the last 10, 15 years, I think, how old were my kids at that time? That's how I work out. Yeah. And I remember bringing Leon here when he was like 2, and he's 12 now. So that, 10, 11 years.
Yeah, because we've been open 11 years, only last month.
Congrats.
So he's, thank you. And I think you started a few months later.
Was it that? I didn't realise you hadn't been open that long. Because
it was only like within the year after that, like we actually stopped the open gym.
Yeah.
And you were the OG, and you had your. Did I buy a safety bar off you, or was it the other way around?
No, you did. You bought one of them.
Or did I sell you a safety bar, squat bar?
No, you bought it off me.
Did I buy it off you? Did I?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, there it is.
And then I ended up buying another one, which I've now also sold, because I don't really train at home anymore.
Right. Okay. Hey, it's done the rounds. But it's been 11 years, obviously, since you were here, and you were super passionate about it then. You knew your stuff, completely knew your stuff then. Like, you didn't need anything from me. I was probably saying all review, to be fair. I was like, he fucking knows more than me. Like, what was the moment, like, when you thought, because I know it's obviously been only the last couple of years, but like it's like right where you now have that passion to help people?
Yeah.
So it must have been a light bulby moment. I mean, you said there about like turning 40.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to go to the office, but you've always been into it.
I've always been, ever since I started going to the gym, prioritizing like my health and nutrition, I wanted to know the science behind it, the why. And that's why I like studied training programs and studied about nutrition and read like loads of books, all the old guys. I'm sure you've read all the same books, and like listened to all the podcasts, all of that. Because I was just fascinated by not only the actual doing of the thing, but the culture around it. And that's why I love training here, because it's like people training hard, putting their all in. It's like really motivational environment. Train at Bannatynes now. It's not like that at all. There's guys there that train hard for sure, but there's a lot of, it's not got that same vibe to it.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got different machines. They've got a sauna. If you get a sauna, I'll come back. But to answer your question, so I've always been passionate about it. People have often asked for like my advice on stuff, training. How can I train? How can I improve my diet? A lot of supplement questions. People always gravitate towards supplements first. But I've never. I guess a lot of the time in my 20s and my 30s when I was starting my career, I was just kind of going through the motions with it. I didn't really have the ownership of the way the trajectory of my life was going that I now do, and that really I wanted in hindsight. So I was making good money. It was all right. I was getting promotions and all of that. The like light bulb moment was, I'm joking about midlife crisis.
Okay.
I was fine.
I know,
I was fine. I turned 40.
I didn't see you driving around your Porsche. Yeah.
I turned 40 and I really was not enjoying work at all. Like I was making more money than I'd ever made, more money than I needed, far more money than I needed. But I was so stressed out. And even like not having to go to the office, just the demands, the stress, like always being on because you feel like you always have to work and there's a lot of pressure to do that. So I went part-time at work, down to 4 days a week, because I was drunkenly complaining to my mate, and he said, why don't you try going part-time? Still remember, shout out Chris. And then I was like, maybe I could do something else with my life. That's an exciting idea. Yeah. Well, at first I just filled the Friday with like just doing bullshit and not really doing anything. But then I thought, maybe I could like look into a career change, and then I'd never thought of myself as like a business owner or someone who could do that. But then I looked into that and started thinking, well, I know loads about this stuff. People ask me about it. People pay for their health all the time. Yeah. I pay for my health, so why would someone else not? And then I just thought, I'll just try it out with a couple of mates, see if they want some help. Did that. I did it really, really badly now in hindsight, sending them like PDFs and all this stuff that I wouldn't do now.
You started?
Yeah, that's the main thing. I got going, yeah. And then I was like, maybe there's something serious in this. But I don't know anything about marketing, sales, coaching apps, all the stuff that you need to know as a business owner, which is not only fitness, training, nutrition. Yeah. So I found a mentorship, bought into that, really liked what they had to say, worked with them, then set the business up from there. So it was 2022 that I started doing it properly, like as a side hustle. Yeah. Whilst working, then I went more part-time. I was really lucky to work in the NHS, which is very flexible with contracts and part-time working. So as I built that up, I worked less. And then got to the point where I was like, I just have to go all in now. If it's going to happen, I need to go in and bet on myself that I'm going to make it work. So I left my 9-to-5 January last year. So only just been doing it just a bit over a year.
Full-time? But full-time, yeah, but you've still been doing it prior to that?
Yeah, I was doing it part-time, and built it up. Still working out and don't have all the answers, but things are good. Like I don't have to stress about money anymore. Yeah. I'm making enough and got a good foundation for building from. So yeah.
This is probably a side question because I see him again, probably the social media side of things. We need spring chickens.
No,
okay, we're not. And like, how do you feel with like the having to put yourself out there? Like, because part of the fitness industry is fucking Instagram, algorithm, like we said before, algorithm, blah, blah, blah. Like, how do you feel like with putting yourself, like having to put yourself out there in a way? Yeah.
So obviously, given the nature of the fitness industry, it's very aesthetic and it's very appearance driven. And I remember when I first signed up for the mentorship, one of them said to me, it would be helpful if you did some like Facebook Lives talking to camera, just to promote like the fact that you're doing this, just to people who you're friends with on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you fucking kidding? There is no way I'm doing that. And it was like so daunting and so scary. But once I've broken the seal and done it a couple of times, I was like, actually, there's nothing bad happened. It's fine. Yeah. And actually, loads of people were like, oh, good on you. This is really good. I'm interested in what you're doing.
Was that when you said? Is that when you announced you were doing it? Because I think I've seen that and I was like, go on, Toby. Yeah, I'm sure I commented it as well, actually. Yeah. Jesus. Which
honestly, putting the camera up and like shit, my hands are shaking. Like, I'm going to go live on Facebook. So that was very, very daunting. That was the thing that I think was most daunting. And then going on to how to use social media and do that more. Well, now I love sharing ideas and I love teaching. That's like a massive passion and a reason why I love my work. And a great way to do that is by videos, my podcast, so do that as well. Plug that at the end.
You will. It's a good podcast. It is.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So actually, I love that. And if the medium is social media for doing that, then so be it. That's not my preference. That's why I love doing the podcast, because you've got more time and space to think about what you're going to say. If someone listens to a podcast, they're more committed than someone who just watches a 15-second reel on Instagram, obviously. Yeah. So they want to learn, and that's the kind of people that I want to help. I don't love the pointing at words, TikTok, silly dances, all of that, and I will never go in for that, and that's probably is because we're in our 40s, and it's just like, no, I'm not. But I think one thing that I love about this work is that you can do it on your terms, and you can decide what you are and aren't willing to do. Yeah. Everything's a sacrifice. You decide what you want to do, and yes, there's sacrifices to that. Maybe I'd have a bigger following if I was doing stuff on TikTok, but my boundaries are important to me, and I have no interest in working out how to do TikTok and all of that, so I won't do it. Yeah. I don't mind Instagram. There's loads of different ways you can produce content. It doesn't have to be like silly dances and all that. There's loads of different mediums. So it's not the medium that I love doing the most, because I like getting in depth on stuff, but it's a good way to practice sharing ideas. It's a good way to get yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit if you don't love it. So I don't mind it. What about you?
It's one of them things. It's like I feel as though, like especially for the online, I feel as though I've always got a thing like one post a day. I'm happy with that. Do you know what I mean? But then it is sometimes like you fall into the traps of like making a shorter reel where it's a video, but then there is writing over the top, and it's like sort of to try and beat the algorithm. And then like I end up thinking of it like, what have I fucking done that for? Am I just like doing it to? It's a popularity contest, isn't it? And with me, I'm not. Obviously, I have done a few photo shoots, but not all me. You'll never see videos of us training. Or topless training. Yeah. Yes, you'll see. I mean, if you literally go down, it'll probably be every 20 posts. You might see something of where I have done the photo shoot or something like that. But I don't feel comfortable doing any of that stuff. And even now, like if I try to make a talking reel thing, it would never come across me. And this is why I like this, because I can just talk exactly like how I normally do, and I'm not like staring at the camera do you know what I mean? But we're having a conversation, and I actually prefer the podcasts, in all honesty, and it's just a fucking bitch of a world. It is, because it's same with Sarah. I don't know if you've ever seen Sarah's content, but Sarah, she's sort of like anti-content in a way. Because I think women's an easy example of I'm doing arms day and it's a fucking RDL with a camera straight up the hoop.
Yeah.
Do you know? But it is, and it's like, but these people are really popular. These people are really popular, and I often think it's like, why are them buying your program? They're not sharing any results of anybody. It's all about them. It's all about looking slutty, but people are buying into that, and it's like I can't comprehend. It's like they don't look as if they give a shit about anybody apart from themselves.
I think there's a difference between an influencer and someone who's on Instagram to help people. And I think that example of men or women who are all their content's just them topless, or here's what I eat in a day, or like glute bridges and RDLs for women, or just like biceps and chest for men.
Yeah.
And they're like just oiled up in all the slow motion. It's you can make money doing that, I guess, and that's the thing. But
they clearly are.
Yeah, but it's bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just like V-Shred and all that other stuff, they've just got massive marketing budgets, so they can go for it. I have no interest, and like I said about, there's loads of different ways you can run a business. I've no interest in trying to become famous or an influencer. Yeah. You don't need to, do you? No. You only need. I read a great article. I wish I could remember who it's by, but the idea was, you don't need to win the internet. You need 1,000 true fans. If you can find 1,000 people who really believe in what you're doing, then you can be richer than you ever wanted to be. You can have a profitable business that helps those people.
Yeah.
It's mutual benefit. It's always mutual benefit. They get results and improvements to their life. You get to build a business. You don't need hundreds of thousands of people to do that. And what use is 100,000 people if all they do is click like but never buy anything off you? There was an example of there was a female influencer on TikTok. She had hundreds of thousands of followers, and she set up like a shop and started selling some merchandise. She sold like 6 T-shirts out of these hundreds of thousands.
Really?
And she's like, why is nobody buying my stuff? It's like, because you've not demonstrated that you can help anyone with anything. People are following you for entertainment, not for substance.
Yeah, yes, because I suppose that draws the line, because some people are all about entertainment, some people are all education, some people are in the middle. Let's say James Smith is an example, who's done well. Do you know what I mean? And like, what's it called? Infotaining.
Is that? Yeah, it's a good name, isn't it?
Infotaining.
Yeah, because he's educational, but it's he's authentic. I think you would say he was.
Yeah.
Don't know if he still is, but authentic. Like he was his true self, and that's why people bought into him.
I think that's what, from the content, what I've seen of yours, you are you.
Good.
Yeah, no, that's a fucking really positive thing, and I think when it comes to that, when you're talking about like lesser fans, this isn't even a fucking question, but it's talking about like, say, lesser fans, lesser followers and stuff like that. It's like, if people then buy into you being your authentic self, then you're going to have the best clients ever.
For sure. I think more and more as well, people are becoming more savvy, and that I think this might just be what I want to happen rather than what is happening.
Right,
so
okay.
I've got to be careful of my own biases, but I think people are moving away from that kind of influencer culture a little bit.
Right.
And what they want is more of an authentic connection with somebody they're working with. And I don't just mean in fitness, I mean like in any industry. And I think people are seeking community. That's why people come and train here, isn't it? Mm-hmm. There's like a great atmosphere, they're training with other people, they get to know the other people they're training with. If you're working with someone online, hopefully they've got like a community aspect to it. It's a big part of what I do. And I know that.
You really have to.
Because people want that connection, and so many times clients or people that I'm working with say it's really nice to hear that there's other people with similar sorts of struggles, but they're helping each other out, they're motivating each other. Helps me to be a bit more accountable. If I can see someone else is sharing their like workout results, I'm like, shit, I better go to the gym today, haven't I? All of that, and I think that is much more possible when you've got. When you are more authentic and you're not like trying to win the internet, or win Instagram.
It is, because you're just winning followers basically, and then if those aren't getting entertained, they're just going to unfollow you. If you've entertained them to bring them in, but then you stop entertaining them, they'll just click unfollow.
Yep.
It's like they were never a fan of what your work was.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I like having Instagram followers. I like building more of an audience. I think the goal has to be get people off social media onto your email list or listening to your podcast or somewhere
Yeah.
where you can give them more higher value information.
Yeah. And his is a good podcast. But he'll say it at the end. Why weightlifting above all other forms of training, unless I've got that wrong? But like for you?
You've not got that wrong. I like to use, we use what I call the 3-2-1 plus training system, which is like what I see as a minimum effective dose for the people that I work with. So 3 resistance training sessions a week, 2 short mobility flows a week, and at least 1 cardio session a week. Because I think that gives people the best balance of the training they need for the physique improvements, but also heart health. And I work with guys in their 40s and 50s, they need to move well, so they don't get injured and so they don't make all those noises when they get up. And mobility work is something I wish I'd done 10 years ago, so we factor that in. Yeah. So that's a minimum. Some of my clients do 4 or 5 resistance training, some do mobility work every day. That's just like what I see is like a target for people to get to get beyond. Resistance training, why that forms the cornerstone of what we do with training is people generally want fat loss, but they don't just want to be skinny. You could starve yourself if you wanted fat loss, but you would not be happy with the results. You would you would feel like shit, obviously. Resistance training is the best way to make sure that when you're losing weight, you're losing fat and gaining or at least maintaining the muscle mass that you do have. People often say they want to look toned. Men and women say that. What they mean is a lower level of body fat than they do with enough muscle that they've got definition and it's noticeable. And the only way to get that is resistance training and protein and calories. And also just because it's it's just the most fun training to do. Like you can challenge yourself. The 1 hour where I go to the gym and train, I don't have to not try and think about other stuff, if you see what I mean. You know when people sit down and meditate and they're like, right, I've got to try and not think about things.
Not think about meditating.
Or think about my to-do list, or think about that conversation with my colleague that really pissed me off. When I go to the gym and train with weights, my mind just switches off from everything else. Because I'm like, okay, what am I doing? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to hit? Like, what are the targets? Am I going to get a PR? How can I make sure I give this my best effort without trying? And it is kind of meditative for me. And I love that. I love the fact that you can go in and have a purpose with every training session. Like, okay, what did I do last time? Let's see if I can beat it. You don't have to beat everything, but
just by one rep.
Just 1 rep or 1 lift. And you can see the progress. That's so motivating. And like you were talking about longevity, if we don't do something about keeping our strength and muscle, we're going to lose it, because you lose 1% of your muscle mass every year after 40. Cheers, genetics. But unless you do something about it. Bone density, like injury risk, which you don't really think about when you're in your 40s or 50s, but if you want to be strong and capable when you're 80, you need to do something about it now, not wait until you're 80 and then go, oh shit, I should probably have prioritized my health 40 years ago. And I think just when you get into your 40s, you start thinking about all that stuff. I really like Peter Attia's work. Have you seen him? He's like a longevity guy.
Okay, right.
So he's got these like 4 cornerstones of optimal health or living well into your later years.
Right.
One of which is obviously training and exercise. But he asks people the question, like, imagine what you want to do when you're 80 or 90 and people say they want to lift their grandkids up or have sex or run upstairs. And then he says, well, if you want to do those things now, you need to be training your muscles now. If you want to do those things then, you need to be training your muscles now so you're strong enough then to be able to do it. And when I was in my 20s, all I cared about was like 6-pack, chest, shoulders. Now I think, what's a balanced way for me to look great but also feel good now and in 20, 30 years?
Yeah, mint. I feel as though so this information we've probably known for a long time, but I feel as though that information now is really getting pushed to the forefront, like longevity, aging. Like, I don't know whether it's the world I live in, whereas like weightlifting is at the forefront now, and it is in the media now about it. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, it's hard to know whether it's just because you're in the bubble of that.
Yeah,
that's
isn't it?
That's the people you talk to.
Yeah.
I think so. I think more and more people are becoming aware of the value of resistance training over just like going on a treadmill. But that said, there's people at my gym who all they do is like go on the cross trainer for half an hour 4 times a week, and you never see them doing some weights. I often wonder, is that ignorance or is it fear or not knowing what to do?
Yeah.
Like a lot, because I know a lot of people that I work with, when they start out, they're like scared of using weights because they don't know what to do, or they just feel really self-conscious. And I think that holds a lot of people back. So even if you know that you should be doing it, that's not necessarily enough to get you to do it if you don't know how to actually do it properly.
Yeah. I mean, the stickers have always been on machines. Do you know what I mean? But it's still putting that little bit of a structure to it for them to be able to do it. Because I think it's easier than ever. Like we were talking a little bit about machines and barbells. And I think machines is like a quite an easy access to put people through. So if you're a new person, like a new beginner, something like that, if you put them on, say, just machine-based stuff, they're going to pick it up faster. They're going to feel that little bit more confident. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, when we see our in-house, obviously the coach from beginning, so we can coach them through everything. Online, it's that little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't know how is that similar to you? Or?
So where I've got clients in that sort of scenario, they want to train, or they go to the gym, they use the machines, but they just like do a few reps and then that's it. I've got a program called Gym Confidence, which is exactly for that kind of person, which is exactly as you've said. So we start off with a smaller set of exercises, which is mainly machine movements. Teach them to push the intensity and get stronger, and use like a progressive overload to get stronger. And then gradually over the course of several months, like challenge them to increase the pool of exercises they're using. So do some isolation work with dumbbells, then maybe some lunges, and then maybe some goblet squats, and then over time, then maybe if they want to, start using barbells and things like that. And just, I find that if you can give someone more confidence and give them that like base in strength and fitness, which you can definitely do with mainly machines, then people feel more confident to like step into the free weights area, which is maybe where they've been intimidated. I've got, I was talking to one of my clients a couple of weeks ago. I always use him as an example of this, but he's like doing quad focused Smith squats and like reverse lunges with a barbell. So he's like,
okay,
but like
I'm trying to figure that out in my head as well.
His feet are just further forward in the Smith machine, so he can bias.
Yes,
like,
okay, yes. So you're like sort of upright like that,
And when we started a year ago, he was like, I'm really intimidated by the free weights area. I don't really even know what to do with like the machines. And he always says to me now whenever we speak, I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to the gym and doing reverse lunges with a barbell on my back. And like, I'm seeing other people and I'm critiquing their form. It's class. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And I absolutely love that kind of like mindset transformation to think a year ago, he would never have believed he'd be doing that. And now he's doing it and you're like, yes, that's class.
Do you know what it is? I love, because we've got about 65% women on our weightlifting program, and I just love seeing it because I think over the years women have always felt more intimidated to go in gyms. I think they still do, especially if they don't know what they're doing. I mean, obviously there is the hoop shot girls, like them happily go in the gym, but then you do have like the women who are now hearing about it. I think where as it come to the forefront, I think where we get like a lot of calls for the barbell club or the other program, and like I think where we hear it a little bit more actually outside of our sphere is that they're saying, I've heard weightlifting is good for when you're getting older. So I think that's where I've gotten it from. So women now, like obviously coming to us, and the same like with your client there, it's like when they've done it a year's time and let's say a hex bar deadlift and they're doing over 100 kilos and like they're buzzing their tits off. And when they couldn't even like, we couldn't even start them even with just the 5 plates in the end because the bar's 30 I think here. So that's 40 and we don't even start them on that, we start them on other exercises and then build them up to that, and a year later doing 100 kilos, or like, especially for the ones who end up doing a single chin up.
That's like, a big one.
That's monstrous, and I mean, bench press as well. It's like when they end up putting like 40 kilos onto a barbell bench press and like or hit PBs, it's fucking mint.
Yeah, it's class,
isn't it?
But you can see that, and if you'd said to them at the start with the trap bar, maybe you do say,
yeah,
next year you'll be putting like 2 times 20 kilogram plates in here. They'd be like, what? No way.
Well, it's like they're in awe. They're in awe of some of them, and they're probably feel intimidated by some of the women in here. Get how much is she benching? Because a lot of women, when they do start here or online, they can't bench press an empty bar.
Yeah.
Because 20 kilos already, and then they're slowly building up to 40 kilos, like within maybe the space of a year, and like that's however much percentage increase, hundreds of percentage increase, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. This one I don't know if this one's going to be an easy one or a hard one. If you could only do 3 lifts for this is like a short Instagram clippy type one, isn't it? If you could only do times 3 lifts for the rest of your life, what would they be and why?
Oh man, pull-ups for sure.
By the way, you can choose your favourites here. Don't think science. Here.
I'm gonna like balance. It's gotta be a balance.
I know.
So a push-pull and legs combination, right? Yeah. Favorite 3 lifts, like pull-ups. I love doing pull-ups with or without weight. There's something awesome about adding weight to a pull-up, and then you're too strong for your own body, so you have to add weight to it. I love that. Some form of bench press. I really like decline bench press because my lower chest is just rubbish.
You like decline?
Yeah, I really like it. Yeah. Which, for safety reasons, I do in the Smith machine because doing it on your own without
pain in the arse to get it out of. Yeah.
It's a bit dicey doing it on your own. So some form of bench press. Even though I'm shit at bench pressing, it's always been my worst lift. But I love training chest.
Right. Yeah.
I can't think of a third. I guess it's gonna have to be just like a cable curl or something like that for the biceps. You can't go without a bicep exercise. Do you notice I haven't picked no leg exercises there, which is bad. If I was going to pick a leg exercise, probably leg press or leg extension.
I'm going to ask that question again, and so now, like, that would be your choice of your 3. But what 3 would you say is the fundamentals then? Oh,
okay.
So this is science. Let's go. So you're going to do a push-pull leg type or hinge, push-pull hinge. I don't know.
Yeah. So definitely a squatting movement. So a goblet squat, but also that could also be a leg press. I know it's not.
No, pick
squat.
one.
All right. Okay. I have to pick one exercise.
Yeah, one exercise.
Right. Could I just say squat? Does that
you can say back squat or front squat, whichever one you want.
Back squat then.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be so boring. Bench press and lat pull down or pull up. If I had to pick one, pull up.
Yeah, there we go. Simple. It's mad, isn't it? Like, because you could get it all round physique just by them 3.
Yeah, you have to be strong enough to do them effectively.
Yeah.
And you have to have the mechanics to be able to get into a back squat, and sometimes that takes time. That's why I was trying to cheat by saying goblet squat or whatever. But there's always regressions, isn't there? There's always ways you can work up to doing them.
Love it. So this one. So this is like this is just a bit of an example-y type one where it's giving advice as well. So I just completely made this up as well. So we're going to call him Bob. Dad of 2, busy life. Knows he's got to make the time to sort himself out. 45. I've really wrote him out here. 45-year-old, used to play football regularly. Has got about 3 stone to lose, has heard of the benefits of weight training, wants to lose the gut, wants to add shape, but doesn't know where to start. What should he do to fit this life, and where does he start? If you need us to remind you of little bits, I can.
Does he have any experience in the gym, or is he basically starting out?
Pretty much starting out. Used to play football. He's probably had a few gym memberships over the years.
Doubled.
Trained with his mates, his mate who used to bench 6 plates each side and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
We all know someone who used to do that.
Yeah, used to, yeah. But he's done bits, we'll say. I think he wouldn't be clueless. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a prime example of someone who I would put on that gym confidence program, that at least for the first 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I would have him training 3 days a week. Teaching him about how to make progress in terms of when to add weight versus when to push for more reps. using double progression, which is the simplest way that I can teach someone how to do that. Definitely show them how to train with enough intensity so that the last couple of reps in every set slow down and they're hard, but not to complete all-out failure, because that is the number one thing that people seem to struggle with. Then I would have him focusing on increasing his step count. So I'm not going to go get 10k steps a day if he's only getting 2k today, because it's just like, how is he meant to do that? But gradually pushing him to increase it over the course of several weeks. So can you get up to 6k? And here's some ways to do that. Take a quick walk after lunch. Be inefficient in the way you do chores and park further away in the car park, whatever. And then pushing him to a point where he's being more active outside the gym as well, and telling him why that's important. Then with nutrition, 90% of the time I will use tracking with someone. Yeah. Unless there's a reason why not. Like if it gives them a lot of anxiety, people get very few people, but they get like really stressed out by all the data, or they've tried it before. Actually, no, I was going to say if they've tried it before and did some work, even then I will try and convince someone that maybe this time, and we'll do it differently, it might work, and in a lot of cases it does. But explain to him the value of him knowing more about what he's eating, nutrition-wise, in terms of calories and protein, and why that's important, and that's why we track. Getting him to start prioritising, doing that, getting the habit of doing that, and start to understand how many calories he's eating. And getting him eating a good source of protein in every meal. They would be like the fundamental habits that I would have him started off on. Now, some people can get there in 2 weeks. I've got clients who are just like, right, done that, what do we do next? I'm like, bloody hell.
The charts look perfect.
Yeah. The charts are like so consistent, and then I've got clients like that and they lose like 5 kilograms of fat in 2 weeks. They're like, yeah, right, what do we do now? I'm like, oh, okay. And then I've got clients, and that can take a couple of months. And it's always about meeting the person where they are at and taking them where they want to go, without just giving blanket recommendations to everybody that are the same. So if I can see their data in, say, MyFitnessPal, and they're only eating 60 grams of protein a day, Bob, let's say he's only eating 60,
Bobby.
then it's not very helpful for me to go, okay, now you have to triple that. From tomorrow, eat 3 times that. Because he's going to be like, well, how am I meant to do that? But if I say to him, let's see if we can get it up to 100, here's some ways to do that. Add a protein shake. Tin of tuna with your lunch instead of just getting a sandwich. Chicken breast or seafood in the evening with your evening meal instead of just like carb heavy meal. There's just some ideas. And then when he's at 100, okay, great, you're doing that. Now let's see if we can get it a bit higher. And same with calories. Bringing it down and showing him how to do that, showing him how to prioritize eating satiating foods and stopping snacking and stop drinking sugary drinks, all that. And then within 6 weeks, he's lost 5 kilograms of fat. He's excited to keep going. He's feeling stronger. He wants to do more in the gym. He's enjoying his workouts. And he's asking me what we do next.
Fucking Bob sorted, didn't he? How do you, like, how... So he sounds like he's onto a winner. But there'll always be a point, especially someone like that, where they veer off track.
Yep.
And like for me, I'm all about habits, and at the end of the day, Bob, 45, he's had fucking 30 years worth of bad habits here behind him. I'd say, how do you get them back on track?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Because I know there's so many variables within it all, but let's say he has just completely went off track that way. He had a bingy weekend. Yeah, he went out with the football lads. And then like he just hasn't getting back into it that week. And where we because we message people as well, you're messaging them. How do we get them?
So if it's a week, there's no drama there, I don't think. I think one of the concepts that we use within Mind and Matter Fitness is the concept of imperfect consistency. Yeah. Which is to say that you don't have to get everything perfect every week. You don't have to track everything to within 1% accuracy. You don't have to do all of your workouts and all of your steps. You give it your best effort, because sometimes life is busy. Sometimes you've got a social on Saturday night and you haven't seen your mates for a year and you want to just enjoy it without stressing about it. Sometimes the stars align, you've got 2 or 3 weeks you can really get after it, and I would be saying that's the time to go after it, because you can't just have the imperfect bit without the consistency when you can do it. So I think a lot of the reason that clients might withdraw in that kind of scenario is because they feel like shame or they feel like they're failing. And I try and show people that there's no shame attached to this. It's not success or failure. It's not like binary, you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong. Yeah. It's like a spectrum. So if you get it right 80% of the time, it's a cliche, the 80-20, but if you're doing the right things.
It's great. It
works.
Right. Yeah.
If you're doing the right things most of the time, then you shouldn't then withdraw because you had one day off. Even if that turns into a week off, discipline's not about being 100% perfect all the time. It's about when you do veer off away from where you want to go to get to your goals, you get back on track. Like I have weeks off.
Yeah.
I go on holiday. I have weeks where I'm not tracking my diet or months where I'm not tracking my diet. But what I am able to do is just put that behind me and accept it without stressing about it, and then go, now I'm going to start doing the things that I want to do again. And I think the reason people let a week turn into a month, turn into a year, is because they've been conditioned to think, oh, I've failed now. Fuck it. There's such a common one. Yeah. Oh, well, diet's fucked now. I might as well just eat everything. Yeah. And then you're like, well, now you are going to be pissed off with yourself in a year because you've not done the things that you want to do. Whereas if you just go, oh, well, yeah, I had a good time. Maybe I should have gone to the gym last week. I didn't. Now I can get back on it. I'll message Toby or Ross and say, right, and I had a bad week, but now I'm getting back on it. And I think the quicker you can do that, the more likely you are to achieve your goals. When you let a week turn into a month, and then it all becomes a bigger deal because you're like, oh, I've not spoken to him in a month. Ah, shit. Now I'm really embarrassed. And you just like, you have to just have a kind of safe, supportive environment where someone can feel like they can say, yeah, I messed up. I didn't do the things that I want to do. I'm annoyed with myself, but I'm taking accountability and I'm going to get myself back on track. You can't do it for them, can you?
It's tough because we know deep down, like it's. I mean, we sell stuff as like to get people through the doors, like a 3-month. Do you know what I mean? That's how we sell it, and obviously we always say like, come for the results, stay for the community. Like that's like sort of our motto behind the background, because it's true. Mm-hmm. Like, because people will come off, I need to sort my shit out, and it's like, okay, well, this looks good, I'll do this. But then it's like, because it's so easy for us to just know that if we have a week off, we're going to be there the next week. Like regardless, like we don't quit our gym memberships because we haven't had a week off. And it's just, I find it really hard, like to try and convince isn't the word, but like, I'll just use convince, but convince people like, look, at this is actually for life. And if you want that, like we spoke before, the longevity, the health benefits later in life, like this is something you do have to keep going with. And it is sad always to say like, someone gives it the all for 3-6 months or whatever, has that weekend binge, week off turns to 2 weeks, and then it's like, fuck it all. And it's like,
yeah, there's a constant battle for me because the fitness industry, well, maybe every industry, is sold on short-term results. Everyone wants to get results in the quickest time possible, whether it's with your physique or with making more money or whatever. And I work with smart, sensible people. They know they're not going to like undo, like you say, in Bob's example, they're not going to undo 20 years of destructive habits overnight. It's going to take time. Yeah. But I also need to get people results. So I run an initial 6-week program and I say, we're going to have a target result for that time. Yeah. Yeah, I'm also saying to them, you need a long-term mindset if you want to be successful. Yes. So I'm trying to strike the balance between, I'm serious about getting you results quickly and it's going to be as easy as it possibly can be, but also don't stress about it too much because long-term mindset, it's a constant battle. And I think that's another reason why people do that, because people get motivated for a short-term result. Maybe they get it, maybe they are so motivated that they will do everything, but if they haven't normalized the habit, then what happens after that? What happens after the holiday or the wedding or whatever? How are you going to make sure that you maintain your results? That's often more difficult than actually getting it, because
yes, it is.
It's more vague, isn't it? Like to say, well, I'm just going to kind of like maintain, and maybe I'm going to get a bit stronger or build a bit more muscle. When you don't have that like thing that you're aiming for,
focus.
It can become more difficult to maintain. And some people I've found, they normalize going to the gym really quickly. They're like, this is just part of who I am now. This is part of my identity. I'll go 3 times a week, and if I don't, I'll kick my own ass, and I'll make sure I do it next time. Some people, it takes a long time, and I do have clients who go through fits and starts. So they'll do 2-3 months, they're on it, they do great, and then life hits them, they get overwhelmed, they have like maybe an emergency or a crisis, and then that's enough to then veer them off. And yeah, it's difficult to try and encourage them or show them how they can get back on track and help them do that. But to their credit, they stick around, and the reason they stick around is because they believe and they are convinced that they're going to come back. So they don't. Sometimes someone will cancel and go, I don't have the time, or I just can't commit to this right now. But I've got clients who do go through those fits and starts, but they stay around because they are like, I know I'm not being the best client right now. I know I'm not doing all this stuff, but I am going to get back on it. I'm just a bit overwhelmed right now.
That's more people need to be like that. More people just need to say, I fucked up. I fucked up. Do you know what it is? I'm just having a couple of weeks off. I don't know if you remember. I mean, Sandy, one of the long-time clients, she's been here ages. Do you remember her, Sandy? No?
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So she used to like. So when our kids were younger, I mean, she's been here 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. Fucking hell. But when it come to the school's holidays, she was just having the 6 weeks off. Kid, you won't say us. And like, she kept paying, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she was just blunt and like, nah, didn't even bother messaging us. You won't say us for the 6 weeks. I'm just going to do this, like Christmas. Nah, I'm having it off. And it was like that kind of honesty. Another guy like who used to not turn in, Paul, he just used to go, it's too cold, I'm not coming in. Or I can't be asked this morning. Like brutally honest, but that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it is I wish we could say, when people get in touch with us, I hope you agree on this, but I wish we could, like, when they're telling us all the issues, all the problems and all the rest of it, and it's like, okay, it's going to take probably 2 years. Let's go.
Yeah.
We wouldn't sign anybody up.
No, if you say to someone, okay, yeah, in 3 years you're gonna be really happy with your results.
Yeah.
No one can think forward that far.
No.
Like if I wouldn't sign up for a business mentorship that told me, well, we're gonna get you to you where you want to be in 5 years.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, all right, great, but what about between then and now? Like, am I going to do?
So the company's saying 50 grand in 90 days.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be aware, haven't you? Because there's a balance to be struck. And like I was saying earlier, I think people seek authenticity. So if you can honestly show someone, I wouldn't say, yeah, it's going to take 2 years. But if you can say, that's going to be hard, it's going to require you to make some sacrifices to get where you want to get to. But if you do that and you follow the process, and we'll make it as easy as it can be, you can achieve this in 2 months, 3 months, I reckon. And that allows some flexibility. And then when you've done that, maybe we look at the next phase. So I think not being too short term, but also not being too long term is how you tackle that. And the kind of like going off course thing, it is sometimes someone lets a day off turn into a week off, whatever. Yeah. Sometimes it's just that life is mad for people, like they've got caring responsibilities or work's just crazy. So it's not always about they went out drinking and then they just decided not to get back on it. Yeah. Sometimes people just need a bit of space because life's busy, but the thing to not do then is go, life's busy, therefore I'm not going to prioritize my health or invest in myself right now, because that just makes everything worse for yourself.
It does. I had this little thought the other day. Someone drew this pie chart of like, and it was like Italy or save money. And he kept spinning it and it kept saying save money. So he kept making the pie chart smaller and smaller. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I got into my head, it was like when anything like money worries or anything, and don't get us wrong, some people do have money worries, but it's like the first thing that always goes the gym membership or the coaching membership or anything like that. And it's like, and they'll say, I've got this issue, but like Netflix is still on, Amazon Prime's still on, fucking your £90, I mean, obviously you do need your phone bill, but the next iPhone's coming out, oh, I'll have to get that one. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's always the first thing to go. And I mean, I see some of the people, like obviously I've trained, of course, thousands of people. So when some people have, say, cancelled the membership, and then it's at the weekend, they've fucked off like abroad, and it's like, you've just told us, like, you've laid it all on the line, and it's like, but now you've just spent 500 quid on that, and that's months worth of fucking, do you know what I mean?
It's never the reason, is it? There's usually an underlying reason that money is a convenient excuse to cancel anything. If it involves a human, if you cancel your Netflix, you don't like go, oh, Netflix, sorry, I can't afford. You don't give a fuck. It's just a massive company. When you're working with somebody, you want to explain to them like your reasoning. So yeah, sometimes I think it is financial, but a lot of the time I think it is people feel like they can't commit to it along with the other things they've got in their life, which I think comes down to back to the kind of success versus failure thing. Because even if you can only train 2 days a week, you can still make progress. Even if you can't track your diet every day, but you're doing the best you can and you're mindful of it, you can still make progress. It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
It's just priorities, isn't it? And at the end, but you know, it's going back to that thing of like where, oh, like I fucked up. It's like if, like, say it came to, it's like if you just turned around to your coach and said, I'm cancelling, right? I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but it's like, I'm cancelling. It's like, you could like, and if you were just honest and say, do you know what it is? I really like my Friday nights out with my mates more than this at this moment in time. So I'm going to use me 50, 60 quid a week coaching fees on going out. And it's like, champion, if that makes you happy, crack on. Where do we find you? Thanks for that.
That was a good chat. Good chat. I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me on.
I think I've just had a whinge about people money and that.
You can edit that out if you want. Where do people find me? So I'm on Instagram at Mind Matter Fitness. I I host a podcast myself called the Mind and Matter Method. Not a great name. I'm working on rebranding that to something that's a bit more search friendly. But I talk on there about training, nutrition, lifestyle, productivity, health, habits, basically everything that I'm passionate about and interested in. I have guests on there as well, and do some solo episodes. You can find that on Spotify or Apple if you search Mind and Matter Method.
I'll put the links underneath to your podcast on that.
And then you can find out more about my coaching program and my free course. I run a free 14-day course called Training with Confidence, which anybody is free to join. You can find the information about all of that on Instagram in my bio as well.
Perfect. I'll put that underneath as well. Thank you very much. Great.